but I'm someone who also works with Node.js a lot in my current company. So that's why I quote myself as a full stack developer, not as a .NET full stack anymore. And yeah, having about 7 years of experience now in the industry. Also worked on multiple locations like Singapore, Malaysia, Dubai, and now currently I'm in Europe. So this is just something about me. If you need to know more about me, you can go to this website and you can check out what really I do and all of that. And this is just my how do I say, my GitHub repository. If you want to see like what kind of project I work on, that also you can take a look over here. Right. So now today, let's now come to the agenda of today's topic, and that is related to agents. Okay. So we need to first understand about what is a agent. Okay. So anyone here who already have heard this term agents and can explain me like with like whatever knowledge they have around this area, what agents are? Anyone, please?
Agent is something like when you assign something, it should analyze and it will complete the task and the prerequisites what you have provided.
Okay. So
Right?
basically, you're trying to say based on some context, your agent will perform. Is correct?
Yeah, it will develop accordingly and it will perform the task.
Okay. Okay. Then what is difference between LLMs then? Then LLMs can do the same, right? LLMs, you can provide some context, you can provide some instruction, and LLMs can perform something for you. Like LLMs, okay, if you don't know LLMs, I'm just talking here about ChatGPT. I'm talking about Gemini. Okay. I'm talking about Claude. So I can do the same thing, right? With providing some context, providing some instruction, and do my task. So
But
then,
the difference is here we need it will give us some result and we need to create that project and whatever. But agent it will develop completely from the scratch based on the context, I think.
okay. So okay, let's take an example here. Do I have a browser? This is what I hate. Okay, let me open up. I'm not able to open a new tab. I don't know why. Is it because I'm sharing? Oh my God. Okay. Again, the same problem. Last time we faced the same problem. Okay, I have to open a new. Okay, okay, okay. So let me come here. So now here, if I say, right, okay, um, this is my ChatGPT, and I'm asking him create do some problem for lead code. So I gave him an instruction, right, and he is trying to do it from scratch for me. Yes or no? As per your definition, what you said that hey, I gave an instruction. Like for example, I'm asking him to build a project. Does the same thing, right? He's able to do it. Like he's able to provide me all information from scratch, and I'm done. Yes or no?
Yes, but
Mhm.
agent what I heard like let's say in recent one uh, times I have read that one document. This Anthropic has developed a, compiler from the scratch. So
Mhm.
it only tested and it only automated everything and it finally ready to use like a application. Or
You know what?
I'm
Today I'm so happy. Today I'm so happy. Okay, so if anyone has the same understanding here in the group, then please raise your hand or maybe do something so that I can know. Okay, you guys also have the same understanding. Maybe thumbs up or some reactions I need, guys. Come on. Just don't sit idle so that I know, okay, what people think. Okay, so I see some hands are raised. Okay. So I'm so happy to take this session today because today I'm here to clear all your doubts related to this LLMs and agent, what exactly those are. right? So if you ask me about creating a CLI from scratch, I can really do that by just using ChatGPT and take all the code what ChatGPT has provided step by step, and I can make the same CLI what he just said about the agent as well. So now let me try to give you an understanding about what is exactly an agent is, like what agents are and what they are capable of. Okay, so when we talk about ChatGPT and LLMs, they are doing a great job. Okay, they are doing great job in term of NPL, natural processing language. They are basically NPLs, which basically helps you to talk in a very natural way and gives you answer. Like for example, you want to write an email, it can help you to do it. If you want to correct the English, it can help you to do it. If you want to ask him to write, I would say piece of programming code, it can really help you to do it. Okay. Now, for example, let me go here and try to demonstrate an example. So just to see that, okay, from where does this agent basically lacks? Okay. Now here I am trying to say him that, okay, so we already saw that this guy was able to write a program. But what if now I ask my LLM, can you uh, fetch the latest blog from my database called Let's Program DB and tell me about my latest blog? Can you think my LLM can do it? Who say yes?
No,
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 right?
no.
Let's try to hit enter.
because they
Let's
are
see what
already
happens.
trained.
See what he's saying? He's saying that, hey, I cannot access your private database. I don't have direct access to your Let's Program DB, your server, your local machine, blah, 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 and all of that. Which means, and he's trying to help me, hey, how you can get in all of that. Which means this guy is just there, like this guy only works based on how he has been trained. Okay, on what kind of data set this guy has been trained. So that's what a large language models are. They are basically trained on set of a data which he can try to give you answer about. Okay, so this is one of the problem what I saw like with the large language model. Okay, and to solve such problem, okay, to fix such problems, so there is something called as agents. Okay, so here comes the agent. So what if I, so in the agents, oh my god, it's going wrong. Okay, so now from the agent, what I can do? So from the agent, which means you have a LLM, and now your LLM is capable of doing API calls. If you're trying to provide, so now with this LLM, now this LLM will be able to do API call. Okay, if this guy is able to do the API call, then what can happen? It can fetch some data, right, from your sensitive database, yes or no? And based on that, it can give me some information. Okay, so here comes the main power of an agent. So this is where one of the difference between your large language model and agents are. So agents are basically there to give your LLM some extra power. Okay, and that is basically done by this, because these were all limited, right? They have some limitations that they are just trained on the limited data, but now with agents we are trying to superpower your LLMs. Yes or no? Which means fetching can be done, and now this guy will have access to some of your data sets by doing the API calls, of course. Okay, now what really, okay, so when if I talk about, right, if I say that, hey, if I have a LLM plus if I can do API calls, so can I call this as my agent? Can I call this as my agent? Just tell me yes or no.
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 Yes, we can
Why?
say.
Yeah. Okay. So we can say this as a mini agent. I would say. Okay, there is no such term called mini agent. I'm just kidding. But yeah, you can say, hey, you have started with learning agent. I would say you know about, okay. So now I would say you know 30% of agents. If you know this, if you know LLM plus if you know how to do the API calls with that, you know 30% of agents. Okay. Now let me add another 30%. Okay, let me add another 30%. For example, now if you're doing some API call, Okay, if you are doing some API call and inside that, okay, so now there is a high chance now your LLMs has a database access because you have an API call and all of that. What if he's able to fetch some sensitive data from a database? Is it good? No, right? It shouldn't know your
No.
sensitive data. You need to make sure that, hey, only use limited data what I'm providing you. So which means we need to add some guards. Okay, we need to add some guards. Okay, I did a mistake. Okay, so we need to add some guards. Okay, and these guards are nothing but they call in the term of agentic AI is guardrails. Okay, there is something called as guardrails. So now LLM plus API calls plus guardrails, which means now we know 60% of how I would say your agents, agentic AI development. I'm more talking about agentic AI development area. Okay, till here it was fine. Like we have a small agent which does the API call and he fetches some latest data. And the good thing about LLMs are they are natural language. Basically, the response what we get from them, it's kind of a natural processing language. So which a human readable kind of thing. Okay. Okay. So now LLM plus API call plus guards. Now what else we need? What else we need? Okay, let me put it here so that, okay, API calls plus guards plus we need something called as tracing. Tracing in the sense what exactly the tracing means. Like for example, when you're doing the API call or whatever, when it is basically processing your request. So for example, here user gives a request, right? So it goes to the LLMs. Okay, I need to do the API call. Okay, after API call, you need to check the guard. Okay, then I need some tracing to debug. Okay, how my flow was basically going. Did anything went wrong? What was actually going? Maybe I can put it like this: tracing. I would say debugging. Okay, tracing plus debugging. So now if you know this much, then you know 80% of agents, or I would say you know 80% of agentic AI development. Now let's try to add another 20. And what does the another 20 is your multi-agent multi-agent orchestration. Multi-agent. Okay, multi-agent orchestration. If you are able to connect different agents together, and for example, let's take an example. Uh, I want to book a ride from Mumbai to Nashik or maybe Mumbai to Nagpur. Okay. So what I did, I told my agent, hello agent, like maybe I just build an agent which works on my mobile phone. I said, hey, I want to book a ride from Mumbai to Nagpur. And I just hit enter. Okay. Now, what does the agent does? The first agent who is good in geolocation and mapping. So he will first go and fetch, okay, which location is quite near, like which location will be the fastest. First agent job done. Second agent, based on that distance, okay, which the second agent will be try to fetch cars which is nearby to that particular location. Okay, job is done. The third agent, that agent is going to basically have access to Ola Uber APIs which can basically take these two information and book a ride for you, which means now here I have multi agents, so which means we need to orchestrate them right in such a way that they can do the communication. There could be some agent which works sequentially, there could be some agent which works parallelly, there is some agent which works on a loop. There are different types. I just give you a very small example. As a user, I just give him a natural language. I said I want to book a ride, and that's all, and rest of the job was done by my agents. They agent 1, agent 2, agent 3, after all of their job is done, I got a response on my phone again. Hey Shashi Kumar, your ride is booked from Mumbai to this and this is your fare. Maybe we can also have one fare calculator, but maybe that is not required because Ola Uber handles it. So whatever response I got from my last agent, and that response he was able to give me in a natural language. Hey, your ride is booked and this is what your fare is. Enjoy your ride. Does this flow make sense to everyone? Yes, no? Thumbs up, thumbs
Yes.
down. Okay. I see only one thumbs up. Doesn't motivates me, guys. Come on. look at my voice. I'm trying to like give you all sort of information. At least say yes, no. If you don't understand, maybe I can repeat again and all of that. Yeah. Thanks for that. Because that really boosts me. Like I'm trying to put all my energy today to make you guys understand about this topic. Okay, which means now people know about, okay, what is this agentic? So now can you see, Ashok, can you see now the difference between the LLM and the agents? What we were discussed initially.
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. I'm so happy like I'm able to make your understanding more clear and clear. Okay. Now, okay, so now we know about LLMs. Now we know about what agents are and what kind of purpose they are doing. And now we actually know what does an agentic AI development really means. Yes or no? So now if we know all of this, then we are in the world of agentic AI development. And trust me, guys, see, I hope here all of you are a full stack developer, and like full stack or back end or front end, no matter what. Just don't try to be an AI developer. Please be what you are. You just should know, okay, you shouldn't know about, okay, what is happening internally and all of that. We don't require that knowledge at the moment. Okay, just stick to what today I'm trying to teach you and try to take those knowledge and try to use them in your project, because we still need full stack developer. Don't say that now we only need AI developers. There are some AI developers, they are doing their job. Let them do it. Our job is different and their job is different. The only thing is you should really understand about it. Like, okay, just for an example, when I was when I was very young, like 1 or 2 year of experience in the industry, I actually went to GitHub and see the .NET code on GitHub and Angular code on GitHub. I was not able to understand anything. I was just super like, hey, I want to learn. I want to see how they make this Angular, how they make this .NET, and I was nothing I was able to understand. Over the time, when I was using my tool a lot, when I was using my tool in the sense when I'm using my Angular .NET a lot over the time, and then after 5 years now when I go and check the same website, everything makes sense. You know why? Because now I know my tool. Now I know my daily drivers, how they are, like what kind of things I'm using from them. Like for example, I know how really forms work in Angular. What is reactive form? I know they're in and out. After such a knowledge, after using them for 5 years, now when I went to GitHub and see their repository, okay, what exactly they are doing, how they have been built, now things really make sense to me. Okay, so this idea or this example was just to tell you that, hey, first try to use all of these agentic tools, try to use them, try to make some small project with them, try to understand them, how they works, then only try to go and deep dive into, okay, how this guardrail have been made, what exactly they are and how they have been built and all of that, and how we can improve them and all of these things. Because see, to develop this right, we can do all of this from scratch. Like we can do that, hey, we can create one big function. In that function, that does the API call, that another function does the processing, another function does this, another function calls the model, this, that. If you remember when we build a RAG application, I don't know if you were there when I was teaching RAG. So all of those things we were building from scratch and all of that. But now you are in the world of agents. Now there are already big companies, companies like OpenAI, companies like Google. They have built their own agent development kit. So there is something called as OpenAI ADK. There is something called as Google Agent Development Kit. The ADK means this agent development kit, whatever it is. Okay, what we have. So now if I open up my this again, which means we don't have to build anything from scratch. So people has already provided. So when I say Open AI Agent Development Kit, okay. So here introducing the agent kit, you can see blah blah blah, all of this definitions and all of that, but I'm not interested in that. I want to see this, the SDK, the real SDK. Okay, so here you can find the SDK what we have here. You can find there is something called as agent. There is something called as, see, this is how the agents are. The running an agent. We have some session. We have result streaming. We have tools. I'll talk about this more. The tools. What are these tools? MCP. Okay, let's not go there today. But yeah, there is something called as MCP and all of this. right? So we have some SDK provided by OpenAI, right? OpenAI Agent SDK. Then the same thing have, oh my God, why I'm not able to open? So same thing we have for Google Agent Development Kit. If you go here, can you see it? The same thing, right? You can find, hey, okay, so now here you can find your agent model for agent, custom tools, skills for agent runtime, event, MCP, plugins, A2A protocol, like how agent to agent communication happens, all of that. Then we can create some plugins, session and memory. If you remember, we have context. So we have just two big companies. They both are doing the same job. So, and here you can see we have our TypeScript support, which I really like.
I think
Oh,
you are
oh my
using under
God.
monitor.
Yes, but I see my screen also got stopped automatically. Let me know if you guys can see. No, this is the wrong screen. Share. Let me know if you can see it again.
Yeah.
I don't understand why this is like this. Okay, but yeah, this is what I was basically talking about, the agent development kit, and this is from Google. Oh, what's wrong? Yeah, this is from Google, and here you can find that we have a TypeScript support for it, which I really like. So that's why I'm saying no need to learn Python at the moment. Yeah, if you want to learn for yourself, you can do it, but yeah, it's not really mandatory now to learn Python to do the agentic development and all of that, because now we have support for like bunch of the languages already. Okay, so here we have the package which we can install and we can start using it. We are going to learn. Okay, so now it was just the theory part, whatever I did. Now it's time to actually code, and that I will be doing in front of you guys. And okay, but yeah, but before that, my only agenda was to show you guys that hey, whatever agent development you are going to learn, it's still going to be the same. The knowledge is still the same. Okay, it's just how the way OpenAI does, the way Google does, it's just slight difference. That's all. But why I prefer Google? Because it's free, it's easy to configure, and I'm someone who's also associated with Google team as well, so that's why I prefer using Google, to be honest. And it really does the job for me. Okay. Now, talking about, okay, maybe if you have missed the OpenAI, so let me also show you the OpenAI SDK, just in case the screen was stopped. So here you can see they also have the same thing. We have agents, running agents, session tools, like almost similar, to be honest. Okay, it's just the two different brand, like which one you want to use, like where you want to invest your money. The thing is, if you want to use OpenAI, you need API keys. Same for Google. And for Google, I think you don't have to pay upfront, but here you have to pay $5 upfront, and then you can start using their APIs. Okay. Now, so one thing what we saw, right, there is something called as tools. Okay, basically this tools is quite important to do those API calling and fetching and all of that. So that's why LLM plus tools, and tools is nothing but what we just saw as an API call, and that tool we are going to build today. Okay, so this was just the theory part about this AI agent development and all of that. So let me again come back to this. So here, as I told you, right, so we don't have to build anything from scratch. So Google has already provided us the ADK, and this ADK we are going to use to make agents. Use to make agents. So we are going to make our agents today, right? Now, but there are some prerequisites that you need. You need to have a Google API. So you need to have a Gemini API key. Okay. If you don't know how to get it, okay, let me. There is something called as AI Studio. Yes. If you go here on aistudio.com, here you can basically click somewhere over here. Where is that? Get API key on the bottom. So if you click this, and then you need to create a API key. And now what I remember that now you need to add yourself. If I use this API key, it will not work because they say now you have to set up a billing. And to set up a billing, you need to add your credit card or something. And trust me, the bills are not that much high. If I show you, right, I can show you my usages, and I can show you my billing. I was just trying to learn, okay, and this is what it costed me. when I was learning agentic AI. See, I'm also not a very pro in agentic AI development, but whatever I have understand, so my way of learning is very different. I just deep dive and try to understand things, try to break things, and after that I try to take all my those knowledge and put it in front of you guys so that it can help, because see, maybe people learn better from others. So that's why we have teacher, right? So that's why I'm here to basically help you, like what was my learning, what was my understanding around this topic, share it with you guys, and you can guys can take that knowledge and you can start developing your things. So you don't have to now go and read the document. So everything is there for you guys, which I will be providing you today, and take this knowledge and start building AI agents. So here you can see, like it just costed me like 3 rupees to learn this agentic AI, whatever I have learned till now, just only 3 rupees. Any questions? Can you explain it with any of this free resource? Because initially to learn, we should use free resource. I think so. Can you please use any free model? See, Shivang, I am going to use the Gemini 2.5 Flash, which is the cheapest model. And I don't think so nowadays, because it was free like long time back. But now if you want to use their API, I think no other are giving it for free. I think so. You need to add your credit card and you need to put some threshold like, hey, after 100 rupees, it will not work, something like that. But yeah, you need to pay something to learn. Come on, guys, 3 rupees is nothing, or 100 rupees is nothing for your learning. Like if you want to eat one vada pav, that cost you 20 rupees now. Come on. So this is for your own good. So up to you guys. I don't know. And Shivang, I'm not sure about any models now who are providing for free. Maybe in term of doing the like ADK support, I think only Gemini, Claude, OpenAI, what I have seen till now, they has, and all of them requires you to put your credit card and pay as you go, like how much request you use, based on that you're trying to pay. And this 3 rupees is also costing me because of this as well, because here also I have a rack for myself which uses the same API endpoint. So that's why, but I'm okay. I'm okay. So once you have the API key, because this API key is important, and after that you can start with the development, which I will be doing it now. Okay, let me open up my VS Code. Okay, so here I have a folder created. Okay, and let me do this. Is my okay? Let me first type something, then I can ask. Is okay? Okay, zoom this a bit. Okay, now what we need to do? So first we need to install that package, right? So let me go back to that OpenAI SDK and Agentic. Yeah. So let's go and install this. So for that, first we need package, right? So we say npm. Oh, wow. This guy already knows, but I'm gonna use pnpm install. What was that package name? @Google. Was that Gen AI or AK? Oh, it was ADK. I can get rid of that. Google/ADK. I cannot see my screen because I have a mobile phone in front of me. I need to always go and check what's the command. Okay, let it get done. I did a mistake. Yeah, I did a mistake. A huge mistake. Who can tell me what was the mistake? Who can tell me what was the mistake I did? Hey guys, come on, speak up. I did a very, very basic mistake here.
Wrong package install. Gen
Okay,
AI.
that is correct. But
Correct.
first thing first, I need to have pnpm in it. If you don't have package.json, how can you install anything, right? Then let me change it to main.ts because we are going to use TypeScript here, and here I need to make sure the type is module, not common.js. Okay, is it visible? The screen is good. The words and all you can read.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Now I need to just make sure my laptop is bit this side so that I can see some command. Okay. So I make use of pnpm to do the job. So let me go back here and grab this, and I'll say pnpm There is also something called as a package, which helps you to give, how do I say, that helps you for development. During the development, you can use the dev tools. Okay. So I will be also installing that pnpm install @Google. I think so. It is helping me. No, Google/ADK. Okay, ADK DevTools. Okay, if you go on the documentation, maybe I can show it to you. Start with TypeScript. So here you can see I'm just trying to follow this. So I have initialized the project. Yes, okay. I have set these two already. That's okay. Install the ADK library. Yes, I did. Okay, this was dev, but that's fine. We are just learning it, so no need for dev at the moment. So yeah, Google ADK DevTools. That's what I have installed, and I just need to make sure the versions are correct because this is what they have at the moment. Okay. Now, so we have these two things which is going to help us. Now I need also a .env, and I'm not going to show this to you guys. So let me take it to my another screen. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to add a API key so that it just works. I'm just doing some prerequisite. Okay, I haven't started the coding yet. Okay, let me put it like this, and let me grab this so that I can show you what I really added. Okay, so this is what I have added up. So the name should be like this, Gemini API key, and they is already provided on the documentation if you go here. So they ask you to, yeah, add it something like this. So Gemini API key inside your .env file with your API key what you just have created. Okay. And then there is some running, how you can run the agent and all of that. And yeah, and this is what the ADK does. So this is the ADK. If you add that ADK DevTools, so you can also view whatever agents you have created on the web. Right. Now let me start with some piece of code, and let's first open up your main.ps. Okay, now here we need to create our first agent. Okay, so let's start very slow. Let's first try to understand what all things we need to get started, right? And I don't need Ulama. Okay, so first thing first, we need to do the imports. Okay, so first imports is done from your @Google/ADK. Okay, so what does this ADK provides? This ADK provides you to create LLM agents, correct? So what you need to import? You need to import LLM agent. Okay, so you have your LLM agent. And now with this LLM agent, this is basically a class. If you want to use a class, you need to make use of new keyword. If you are from C#, Java background. Okay, so we are going to create our first agent. So export const, the name will be, let's give it a hello agent. So we are creating a very small, very basic agent, okay? And this agent will be created by this new LLM agent. Okay, and now this class requires an object which is nothing but your config, your LLM agent config. Okay, first thing first, you need to tell the name of your agent. So hey, I will name my agent as, hey, my agent name is hello agent. Okay, now here, which model you want to use? I'm gonna go with the cheapest or the best one, cheapest and the best. So Gemini 2.5, and this is Flash. Gemini 2.5 Flash, yeah, name looks correct. Okay, and then basically you need to give some description about your agent. What does this agent does? So the description is quite simple. This agent is basically, so this is AI hello world prompter. Hello world prompter. That's what it does. It just say hello world, like an instruction. So what you need to also provide some instructions. Okay, so now here, okay, now let's first try to understand this, what I have in front of you. So this agent, you give a name, you say, hey, which model you should use. See, which means different agent can use different model. For example, this is just a basic, so I go with 2.5. For example, there is some, suppose my agent is capable of writing a story letter, like storytelling or something like that. So I can go with a reasoning model. Like every model can be, like here you can configure what model you want. So based on what kind of agent it is. Okay, so if you want to do some coding related stuff, so you can go with the higher models which are quite good in coding, the thinking models of Gemini and all of that. Okay, Now, talking about the instruction, you can say, hey, you are a smart prompter, okay, who always just reply with hello world, no matter what is the request from the user. And what I can say, right, guys? Congratulations, your first agent is ready. And that's all. This is what we wanted to do, and we are able to do it. We are done. We are done with our first agent. Do you think if I wanted to make this from scratch, do you think it would have required me a lot of things to do, like a lot of things to configure, create this class, make this configuration, make this and that, and then you can start to use this. So this is where this ADK helps us. This basically provides us a platform which we can use, a platform code which we can use and start building our agent and start deploying them. Okay. So here we say that, hey, our first agent is ready. And now, do you think just creating an agent was enough? No, right? We also need to run our agent. So to run the agent, we can create a function. We can say run agent. Okay, run the agent. To run this, right? Here also we need to define some things. So to run it, so first of all, we need something called as a runner. Okay, we need a runner which can help me to run this. Then we need something called as a session where we can make this thing happen. For example, if you click a new chat, right, on ChatGPT, so a new session opens, yes or no? So you have one session for how to make biryani. So you have another session, maybe you create for how to make a good coffee. You have another session you create in ChatGPT, how to write a good code. So it's just kind of a that. So we need a runner to run the agent, and we need session to create a different session. Okay. And now based on that, right, once we have these two information, then we can start to think about taking the inputs and trying to run them and show them to the user. Okay. Now, but before that, you need to define your app name. So I'll tell you why this app name is required. So we need to tell a app name. So let me give this as my agent, AGENT, right? My agent. Then I can give them a user ID, which is required here. So Sky123, Sky123. Okay, so I have these two informations. Now you'll say, Sky, why do you need this? Why do you need this? Now I'll tell you why I need this. Because I have a runner which job is to run what? Run agent. So let's create a runner. So we say const runner equals. So we have something called as new in memory. We have an in memory runner which is coming from where? ADK. So we can make use of this in memory runner, which basically uses your RAM to store all this conversation. And yeah, that's what we need here. So maybe in the production, you can change it with your database runner or whatever you want, which will basically store your conversation. But now for here, our learning purpose, we are going to go with the in memory runner. Okay. And here, if you see, we need two things. We need an agent, and there is something called as app name, and then there is something optional which is your plugins. Okay, so here let's try to define your things what we just created. So we have an agent, and agent, which agent you want to run. I have this hello agent what I have created. Okay, second thing, the app name. The app name is nothing but what you just now created, right? Which means now you're going step by step. The agent is done, but now I want to run the agent. So the first step was to create a runner, and the runner needs a agent and an app name. Second thing, we need to create a session now where this runner will run, like that particular piece of session will start with this particular agent. So for that, what we will do, we'll say const session equals, again, what we have something called as await runner dot. So here you can find a session and all of that. Okay, so we have something called as session service. Okay, and this service helps you to create a session. Okay, but to create a session, you need two things. You have a create session request. How to create this session? You first of all need a app name, and then you need a user ID. which I just now created on the top, if you see. Okay, if this is await, then what we should have? We should have a async. Yes or no? Async await. This function is now async function because now here we are using some async methodology to create a session. Okay, asynchronously. Now, Sky, do you think this is enough for us? Yes, we are pretty much done. So we have pretty much created a run agent, which basically helps me to run something, to run an agent for us based on some prompts. Okay, now I need to basically understand, right? Like, hey, but from where I can take some inputs, right? We need to take some input, right? So maybe we can make use of CLI to do that. And if you're aware, like how you do read and write, do you have any idea what is this read and write? Like, how do you read the command line? Any idea? Anyone have? Like, if I want to read something from the CLI, people can write some command which I can read. So there is something in Node.js. Anyone knows about that? First of all, anybody knows Node.js here? Yes or no? Or else then I'll just try to go and explain you directly. So anyone knows here about Node.js? Okay, I said no. Joseph said yes. So can you tell me how can we read if suppose for example I am typing here hello, my name is Sky. So if I'm typing here, so how he can take that? Okay, nobody knows. Okay, that's good. That's good. Then maybe I can directly go and show you the imports. So basically what we have something called as node read lines. Okay, and then there is something called as node process. Okay, so this basically read lines helps you to read the specific line what we have in the command line. Okay, so whatever you type, so this is provided out of the box by Node. You don't need to install any different package. If you have Node in your project, it is more than enough in your OS. So it is more than enough. So we have this Node process which takes your std in, whatever you write as input, and std out, whatever you throw to the user on the screen again. Okay, you guys are, this is what it is. So this is what, when you say pnpm install std in, it reads and that is your input. And after that, whenever you get all of this, those are nothing but std out, and that's all. That's how you build. If you want to create a CLI, this is what you need, this information what you need to build a CLI tools and all of that. Okay, now so as we have those two things, now remember we are going to use this read line. Okay, and this read line is very important because this is where you are going to get the user input from. Okay, so now let's go ahead and create a read line with your input and output. So let's go here. So session is created. Now I want to take some inputs. So I'll say const read line, and I will say, okay, read line. This is a class, static class. So create an interface where you have this input, which is coming from the top, and the output. So this is std in and std out. Okay, so here you have a read line, which means now this guy has some power. Basically, what kind of power? Like this guys can create something called like this, like read line dot. You can, oh sorry. So rl dot, here you can see we have question which you can take it from the user. Are you getting my point? So that is nothing but your user input, like what user has typed. So I will take that as an input and all of that. But now how we need to understand now. Okay, let's see. Which means, so do you think when you go on ChatGPT or somewhere, you type, you get response, you again type, you get response, you again type, you get response? Yes or no? Which means there is some kind of a loop running continuously. You type, response, type, response. So don't you think we also need a loop where we can type, get response, type and get response, right? We need to create a loop, right? And that loop can be created by this while. So we create a while loop. Oh, what's went wrong? Okay, so we create a while loop, while true. Okay, we create a continuous loop now. Okay, but and in this loop, what we will do, let's take a look. So inside this loop, all the magic will happen now because this should run continuously. The input output should basically continuous run so that user gets something really out of it. Right now, we can take a user input from here. So we can say user input. You get it from here. You get from await. You will say rl dot question. And this question is basically from where? From you, right? So what we can do, we can make use of this. You can say /, and this is you. Okay, so this is you who are trying to prompt something. Okay, so this is what your response will be like coming, like you, whatever you type. So after you, whatever you will type, that is nothing but going to be your input. Okay, but always remember, if you have a while loop, so that has to be break. So there should be some condition which basically breaks this loop, or else it will be continuously on. So whenever you use a while loop, always remember to have a break condition. Okay, and that break condition, I'm going to put it over here. I'll tell you how I'm going to put this. So what I will do, I'll say if my user input dot two lowercase is equal to done. If user say, hey, I'm done, which means I can break this loop, and that's it. So now I'm trying to create that environment where I can continuously chat, but I'm making sure if user types, hey, I'm done with my response. So it should break the loop, and that's it. So this was the prerequisite to create that particular loop. But now here we have to basically run. We have still not run our application. We are just doing some prerequisite that we can take a user input, but if the user input is done, we can exit the loop. Now let's create the. So here we are going to make use of runner. Okay, so runner dot run async. Okay, and when you run, right, what you pass your user ID, you pass your session ID. Okay, this for you, this user ID, this session ID, and that session ID you can get it from session dot ID, I guess. Yeah. Okay, what you just create on the top, this session, this gives you a class which has this session dot ID. Okay, and now you have a message. Now you have a new message from the user, right? So here, this thing is very important now. I'll tell you why. Because to pass such kind of a message, you need to create a format. You need to create a format in which you need to pass the message to some LLMs. Okay, so let me basically first show you what really I'm talking about. So here I will create a function create user context message. Okay, and how this basically works, this works based on your user input, which is of type string. You always give a string type, right, like whenever you are typing. Okay, so this is a create user context message. Now we are trying to create a message, so I'll say const message. Okay, Sky, come on. Okay, so here we have an object. So here we define a role. Okay, so hey, my role is a user. Okay, my role is a user, and inside that you have to say parts. Okay, I'm trying to pass up parts, and in the part what you have. So this is kind of a protocol. This is, I don't know the name of the protocol, but there is a term given in the AI world to such kind of a message protocol. Like for example, we have HTTP protocol, how HTTP communicates, right? How HTTP, when you write a post request, how do you pass an object? How do you pass the other options like response/JSON, application/JSON, HTTP headers, and all of that? So all of those are communication protocols. So we have some agent protocols, like what kind of message he can understand. So in Gemini, this is how you should pass. Okay, so we have a role, we have a parts, and inside this part we have an object which has a text, and this text is nothing but your user input. Okay, and that's all. And this is what the message I want to return. I want to return back. So return this message. So I created this user context and I'm passing this message back. Okay, so now whenever I need this, whenever I'm trying to runner.run async for this user ID for this session, pass a message. So I'll say create user context message and pass the user input. And that's all. And that's all. And now you will say, Shashi, why did you give this name as events? What was the reason? Because when you communicate with the AI, so it basically keeps your history as well, right? What did you typed? You first say hello, then he replied, hello Sky. Can you do this for me? Then he replies. So basically you have a series of event or a stream of event. You can also call this as stream if you want. It's just a stream of messages, right? But I usually call them events. And I think that's what I have seen a lot of example people are using them as events, but it can also called as a stream of message. Okay, Now, which means you have some events created, and those events basically you get response now. So here the while loop ends. Yeah. So here what we need to do, we have to make use of std out. So I'll say process dot std out dot write. Now you want to write something which comes from your agent. So again, the same format. We'll say now I am agent, and whatever will be typed now below, it will be from the agent. So what we will use, we'll use for loop. Okay, why is it not coming? For. Okay, this is very much overwhelming. Okay, I'll type it out by myself. So for const event, okay, of events. So whatever events I have on the top, I'm now going to make use of that. Okay, and this, okay, let me also make use, because we will be using some this is await. I'll tell you why this is await. Okay, maybe let me type, then I'll explain you why this is await. Okay, so now here I have this events which is coming from here, and this events I'm going to access one by one, and based on that I'm going to create a string response. So how can I do that? I'll say process dot std out dot write. Okay, write, and inside that, okay, now there is something called as stringify content, and this comes from where? Google ADK. So stringify the content based on what event you pass. So we will going to pass this event. Okay, so once you pass this event, this is going to, why this is clicking? So do I need to have an await? No, await is unnecessary because runner don't need it, and we have an event. Okay, and because this is a stringify content, for await we need to add. Okay, that's why I was complaining. Hey, because this is an async. Can you see? This is an async generator, and to use async generator, you need to make sure you are awaiting them. Okay, that's why it was important. I was thinking, why is it throwing error? Okay, so now we have this await with this event. Now whatever events you have in the loop, it is going to show here as a string message on your CLI. Okay, and I think that's pretty much it. But yeah, maybe let me also add one line, so that after every message we have a blank line. So I think we can get it from here, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. Okay, so this is what now we have. So basically what we have created, we will going to take this while loop will basically run continuously until unless user says done. If he's not saying done, then this will just run and run. That's all. Okay, I would say now I have my things pretty much ready, and here I can call a run agent. Okay, I'm just making use of TypeScript. Let me install pnpm install ts node. Okay, did I install TypeScript? I think no, I need TypeScript as well. So pnpm install TypeScript. Okay, so now we have TypeScript and TS node to run our project. Okay, so npx, okay, I would have used this npx. Yeah, npx ts node, you have main.ts. So now this is the moment of truth. Let's see what really happens. So now if you want, let me go back and try to, oh, okay, shit, I have to delete the key, my bad. This video is recording. Okay, no worries, I can delete that and I can create a new one. Okay, so here if you see, right, and now this is, guy, you did a lot of code, come on, this is not so easy to understand. Trust me guys, that's not the case. You just need this runner once and that's all. Only thing will change is your agents. The runner will still stay the same. So you have one runner which basically helps you to run your multiple agents. Okay, and this runner code is going to be pretty much same for all. So currently we are making use of a CLI version of doing the communication. So here we have a runner by this, then we have a session by app name and user ID. We just created this interface so that we can do this CLI communication with a continuous loop which will run for our conversation until and unless user says done explicitly, it will, or else it will not break. And this is just, you're trying to run your agent by passing user ID, session ID, and the message of the user. And after that you pass, you get an event which is nothing but your series of messages which you are trying to show here one by one by this for loop. Okay, we have to await because this event is a async generator, and we just added this pretty much line. So that, okay, what I can do, right, before I start the message, I can also, maybe you can say, right, hey, the user message got started or something like that. Let's try to add console.log. We can say uh, chat has been started. Chat started. Maybe we can say type done to exit. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Now we are trying to run the project. Let's see what happens. Oh, nice. Can you see that? Now, let's open up this. So now it says, hey, chat has been started. You. Hello, my name is Sky. Wow, it broke. Why it broke? Because it says that, hey, you don't have the API key and he is not able to get the key. And that's because the reason is pretty simple, because I didn't had pnpm install .env, and once that is done, then I have to make sure I have imported it. So let me go and import it from here. So I'll say import .env/config, save the changes. At least I know my error. So see, that's why I say reading your error is very important. If you know how to read your errors, then yeah, you're doing a good job. Let me first say done, because I want to make this a bit better for myself. Okay. Again, let's run ts node main.ts. Okay. Hello, my name is Sky. So here, can you see what response we got from agent? Hello world. What is your name? Can you see? Hello world. Why it just says hello world? Do you guys know? Because that's what instruction was given to him. You are a smart prompter who always just reply with hello world, no matter what is the request from the user. Maybe if I can tell here, hey, you are a smart prompter who always just reply with hello with the user name which user has. Maybe let's try to stick it with, and let's see what really happens. Just reply with a hello with the user name, no matter what the request is. Okay, maybe I can get rid of this. Okay, let's see. Now I'm trying to, okay, let me say done. And let me close this. Let's see what happens now. Even I'm not sure. I haven't tested this because it's morning time. I just came up. I have zero preparation. Okay, ts node main.ts. Okay, hello. My name is Sky. Hello, Sky. So can you see, based on the instruction and the context we gave to your agent, it started to behave differently. Yes or no? And I would say this is what, maybe let's try to refactor this a bit. I don't like this way of doing stuff. So let's say hello agent.ts, and we can grab this agent. Let's just to make things better here. Okay, we can come here, paste it here, LLM agent, we go and come on. Ooh. Go and import. Okay, and then here we just ask to import it from hello.ts. Okay, rest all looks good to me. Yes, yes. So now we have just main.ts, which runs the agent, and then we have abstracted away the hello agent. Okay, so this is what it was about agent, like how you can create your first agent. First of all, any questions still here? Anyone? We are still not done, huh? We are still not done yet. We still have to go one level above. This was just how do we create an agent. We just to understand the jargons about, okay, what all things is required to create an agent: name, model, description, instruction, and all of that. But as I told you, right, LLM plus tools, when we combine them together, then it becomes an actual agent. Because currently this agent just say hello, it is not doing any super heavy job. This you can do it from ChatGPT also. But my agenda of this till now was just to explain you about what are agents and how do you create them. Till now, no questions? Oh, okay. If you have any, just let me know. Just maybe you can type it out or whatever you think. Okay. So now we are successfully able to create our agent. Now let's try to go one level extra, one level more. Okay, let me first say it as, hey, I'm done, and let's close this. Okay, just in case if you want to see it on web, how you can do that? There is also something called as, if I'm not wrong, npx, yeah, adk web, and here you can pass your agent web. So here if I want to say my, what was my agent name? Yeah, hello agent. So hello agent dot ts. So npx adk, if I'm not wrong, yes, and I can wait, guys. I'm looking at here because yeah, I cannot see the screen. Okay, so this is what yeah, can you see here? Now it is loading. Can you see now? This is just the interface given by Google team for us, so that here we can, is that, yeah, we can type something and say hello. My name is Shashi. Can you see now? Hello Shashi Kumar. So here you can find the events. Can you see this is what the event I was talking about? Here we have a hello agent. Here we can say the invocation ID, the state here. This is how they try to communicate. Can you see content? Parts in that we have a text, and the role is model. For us the role was user, so that's how they try to communicate. So this is a protocol, what agent, how the agent and user communicates. Okay, and you can see, okay, what was the prompt token, the candidate token, the total token it has used, token count, and man, lot of that. And the final reason was stop, hey, because hey, that was my job and I did, and I said hello Shashi Kumar. So this is what this basically provides. Here you can find the request. Can you see the request model, the config, the system instruction, what we just gave him, the text, what I had. See, this is all I was trying to explain, and this is what the response we got. So this is the correct way basically to go and debug your the agent, basically what you have created. So that's why we have this ADK-dev tool, which provides this good web for us. Can you see here we have the session ID, what is just, now let me go back to this and let me close this. Okay. Now let's try to go one level extra, and let's try to create another agent. Okay, and this is going to be a bit interesting one. So we have a weather, we have a weather agent.ts. Now let's first understand about the use case. Okay, what is my use case here? So basically what I want to do, I want to create an agent which will tell me the weather report. Okay, weather report based on city. Okay, so okay, let me understand this requirement a bit. So what we will do, we will try to pass a city name, excuse me, and based on the city name, it is going to give me the response back. So to do that, right, so again, first of all, what you guys need a very good agent. So how to create an agent? We say export const weather agent. How do you create an agent? By saying a new LLM agent. What does your agent configuration has? It has a name. Name you can give as weather agent. Then what else you pass? You pass what kind of model you want to use. So just to be sure, I want to use this. Don't want to do any spelling mistakes. So yeah, I want to use Gemini 2.5 Flash. Okay. Then what else it has? It also has a description. So what it really does. So you are a weather detail provider. Okay. Then the very important, you know what is the instruction? Because your agent behaves based on the instructions. Okay. So here you can basically say you are a helpful weather reporter. Oh my God. You are a helpful weather report. Hey, why we are doing this, man? We can get it from ChatGPT or something, like help me with the instruction which which can provide details. Let me go on ChatGPT. Okay, so where is ChatGPT? Okay, I need a instruction instruction. Like, I am not bothered about spelling anyway, so let me again try that. Okay, I need a instruction. You see, I don't know, instruction which will help me to create the weather reporter agent. I need it in tabular format. But I need to have an example. So maybe I'm gonna use tomorrow. Yeah, this is what I use for weather API stuff, tomorrow.io. Okay, let me just try to, because I need to give some context to my LLM so that he can prepare some data for me, right? So what we can do, this is how you can, okay, anyway, I will be deleting the API key, so no need even if you see it. So I need to find out how I can, okay, there should be some way where I can do a fetch and I can see some response. Okay. Documentation. So I'm just trying to find a API which will help me to give the real-time weather. Yes. Okay, this is what I was looking for, and this is real time, but I want to do based on a city. Do I have a weather based on city? Let me check. Weather dot real time. Oh yes, we have this. We have this. Yeah, this is what I want. So here, if you see the location, I can pass a location as Toronto, which is city name, and this is what I get a response. This is what my response looks like. Yes. So what I'll do, right? I'll copy this. Okay. And go to my agent. I cannot see my screen again. I need it in the tabular format. Tabular format. Okay, for example, below is what my response will be from API, and based on that, create that tabular structure for me. Maybe I'm just giving it a shot. Okay, here is the agent instruction event markdown. Okay, so role, you are a weather reporter, you receive a JSON with the key, blah blah blah. Okay, output of the markdown table, no extra text, no bullet, no explanation, row order. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I need it. I need it. I need instruction. How do you say instruction to be as a text with summary kind of response. Okay, so now this is okay. This is nice. This is nice. Yes. I don't want that much information. So yeah, you are a weather reporting assistant. You will receive a JSON response containing 3 main sections. Okay. Your task is to transform the JSON into structure markdown table. You must follow the strict free rules. Okay. Display the time exactly to this. Table must include. Okay. Let's see if we can add all of this information. Never infer calculator gets missing information. Okay. Let's see if I can put it here directly. I knew this will happen, so let's get rid of this. And okay, this is good. You're with the reporting assistant, you will receive a JSON. And this is, I'm just trying to put an instruction, okay? Let's see what it really does based on that. Okay, so now we have an agent. Okay, now we have description and instruction. So which means the agent is ready. Okay, but now we need to first understand this part. Like, hey, if I have a
Your voice is stucking in between.
Sorry.
No.
Hello.
Your voice
Is
and
it-
like your voice and video is stucking.
Okay, is it good now?
Okay, fine.
Let me know if there is any delay. Thanks for letting me know, man. Okay, because this is kind of, now we are going one level above to understand this agent and how it is really helpful. So we created an agent, and I have a very big instruction for it. Like, hey, you do this, you do that, based on some response what we will be getting, right? Now I'm just trying to understand this a bit. Like, okay, so because currently we are not going to do API call, because if I do API call, that will be another different challenge. So I'm trying to first show you without API call how we can do it. Okay. So for example, now we know that we will get a response. So if you remember, we had a JSON response from here. So let me copy this, and let me go back to the Visual Studio Code, and here I'll say const mock weather response. Okay, we can save this, and here we have a mock weather response, okay, on the top. And here we have a weather agent. So we have an agent, we have a response. Suppose this is coming from API. And now what basically we are missing, you know what? We are missing a tool, because hey, I need someone to basically help me, right, with this, to help this agent to get this response. And based on that, this weather agent will react. So what we can do, we can create a tool. So let's create a tool, const weather 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 reporter tool, weather reporter, or I'll say, okay, get current weather. So we have a tool which helps me to get the current weather. Okay, so how do you create a tool? Again, this is nothing but coming from your Google/ADK. So we have a functional tool, and this tool also has to be provided some kind of a data. So this tool should have a name. What name we want to give? Get current weather. So this is the tool name. Okay, so what basically it does, you need to provide it over here. So basically what it does, it fetches the weather, okay, data from a specific city. Okay, so we have two things. And now this can also accept a how do I say, accept a property. Okay, so property in the sense it can accept an argument. And for that, okay, so there is something called as parameters you can pass here. So this parameter, basically you want to basically define them by making use of Zod, because here you can also add some kind of a validation. So let me pnpm install. Who knows here about Zod? Zod. If you don't know Zod, start learning it. It's not something difficult. It just kind of helps you to validate your models. That's all. Okay. So here I'm going to make use of Zod. So how do you say? You just say import Z from Zod. Okay. So let's write here import from Zod. Okay. And what you import from Zod is just something called as Z. Okay. This you just need to tell that, hey, your parameter will be Z dot object. Okay, and in this object, what you are trying to see, we will be getting something called as city, and this city is going to be a type string, and this string is going to describe the city name. So we will say describe what you want to describe. This is city name. Okay, maybe something like that. And now you have a parameter. Now, based on this parameter, what basically you want to send the response? Hey, if you get something, what you want to do? You want to execute something. So based on whatever input I get, based on that, I want to do some execution. Okay, and this execution will be done inside this. So here you can access whatever parameter you have like this. Okay, and this parameter you can use here. So use the city here. Okay, let's first try to understand this functional tool. So how do we create this tool? We give a name, we tell what is your responsibility, and does this function, consider this just as a normal function of a JavaScript, C# or a TypeScript or whatever language you use. So it's just a function which takes some parameter. The only changes is you are telling, okay, what kind of function you are. Okay, and your function receives an input, basically your function argument called as a parameter here. Okay, you just try to add some validation using this Zod, and once you have your parameter over here, what you can do, you can execute something. So for example, if I write a function, let's take an example of this. fetch weather. So this is also a function, and function has a parameter. The parameter is nothing but called as a city of type string. Let me give this as, this is not Angular sky. Okay, so here you can see, and now based on this city I can do API call. Yes or no? Okay, same way this is also a function, but this is an AI tool function. It's a function tool. That's the only difference, but the idea is more or less the same, I would say. Okay, I'm just trying to make things easier for you guys to understand, that's all. But that's how these function tools are. Okay, now here you can do your execution. Okay, so what we will say whenever this is executing, I will say, okay, return two things. First, the status is what? Success. And then we can return a weather data. You can just tell them, hey, this is your weather data. So I'll say mock weather response. Okay, now try to imagine what will happen. So now here we have a agent, and this agent will get some support. Because okay, when you go to LLM and when you go to ChatGPT, say, can you tell me the current weather? It will say, hey, sorry, I don't have access to the current weather information because I'm not trained on that data. But now we are creating an agent which using the LLM, and this agent is provided some more power, and that power is nothing but your tool. What tool you have created? We have created a weather. What was that? Get weather. Get current weather. So now your agent got a superpower. Your agent got a superpower called as tool, and this tool helps you to fetch the current weather. Can you see this guy is able to give me a weather data? If this tool is called, it goes and fetches the data, and based on that, it returns something to the agent. And what agent does? Agent receives a JSON response containing these three sections, and based on that, you have said, hey, I want you to create a tabular data. Do not show null and NA. You should have this. Use the correct utils like this, that, and all of those. Okay, and based on that, it is able to give me some response. Okay, now I would say my agent is ready with a functional tool with some superpower. Now I want to run this agent. So what I will do, I'll go here in the main.ts. I need to change the agent. So now my agent is what? Agent is a weather agent. Okay, let's save the changes, and let me do one thing. Yeah, let's go here and open up the terminal. Here, I think, let me just see if everything is in place. I think so. Yes, we have a weather agent. Yes, we have a runner. We have, okay, done. Now I'll say npx ts node main.ts. Okay, now you will say that, hey, what is current weather? Currently, I just have one city, that's fine. Okay, I hit enter. So AI goes, AI. Wow. Can you guys see what really happened? AI was doing something. AI just did something, and he really able to fetch all the data for me. Currently, it's all mock, so that's why I say, hey, why you're so interesting in this? But this is just mock data. But imagine, see, now based on that response, now imagine you're doing an actual API call. For example, you're doing an actual API call and you got the real current data out of it, and that data he is able to show you, right? And can you see we have all the location stuff and everything? And let me say done. Let me say done. Okay, and let me close this. Let me run the ADK web. Okay, let me run the ADK. No. I have weather agent.ts. Okay, let it run on this. Yep. Open this. Yes, so here you can find your agent is loading. Can you see your weather agent is here? And I can ask him again, what is the current weather in Toronto? So see agent, can you see what is happening now? Your agent first goes and see, okay, what kind of tool I have. Hey, he see I have a tool. It goes and execute the tool. After executing the tool, he got some response. Your LLM takes that response and converts that into a natural language the way we wanted by instructions. So the instruction we have given that, hey, I need a MDX format of tabular structure, which basically tells all this information. So this is what just the information what I got. And if you go here in the series of events, can you see the first event was doing the functional call. You got the function response. Based on the function response, your LLM improve the response. Now he don't have to fetch from his database, from his old trained data, but rather he will go and use these tools, and that tool is going to provide the data, and that data your LLM can basically format the way you want, right? If you see the traces here, you can find, hey, what it really does. So it goes, invokes this much time, it goes, call LLM again. Can you see? You can really see the traces: invocation, agent, call LLM, again execute the tool, again call LLM, and it's done. Okay, here you can find the state as well. Okay, how the state was, what kind of data it had. You can find the session and everything. But this was very important to basically see what really was happening. Can you see? Invocation happened, and then it called, then it execute, and then it give the response. Okay, so this is what your LLMs are basically capable of. Here, if you see the event one was this measure, then second was calling it, then again giving back the response. Can you see the series of events? And this is what the events were, what I was talking about, the series of events. But we were only interested in the last response, what we wanted based on the instruction, right? So you can change the instruction the way you want to see the data and all of that. So suppose, for example, you want your agent to send a HTML. You know, nowadays people are saying, people type something and they get a UI ready. You know, in Angular, there is a very famous package, Hash Brown AI. Basically, you tell them, hey, can you create a card for me? It creates a card live in front of you. Hey, I didn't like the button, change it to green. It instantly go and change it to green, because those response what it get. So the agent is basically working in such a way that it always returns HTML, or basically an Angular component which you are trying to render on the browser. Okay, so this is what these agents are basically capable of. Now let's try to challenge this bit more. Okay, let me close this. Okay, now I'm still not done yet. Okay, now you'll say, hey Sky, you're doing not that good, you're just using some mock data. I want to see some real data, right? Let's do that. Let's try to make you guys happy. Okay, so what I will do, right, I already have API response ready, so let me get it. Okay, this is my weather export, this is my fetch. So I'm going to use something similar, if you see, right? So I have a fetch weather by city. This is not any magic. Okay, so this you can store it in .env. I just exposed, I know, but don't worry, I will be deleting this in next hour. And anyway, these guys have some limitation. This is just a free API, so you can only do 25 requests per hour and 500 requests per day, I guess. So up to you guys. Okay, so now here I have a function, fetch weather by city. Nothing, it does just have a URL. You just give some options, and here you are trying to fetch. Pass the URL, give the options, you get the response, you return the response. Now what we will do here, whatever we had a mock data, here we are going to do the actual API call. Okay, here we will do the actual API call, and it is going to make your life super easy. How? You just get the weather data here. So we'll say const weather response, and you will say, okay, wait, fetch weather by city. This city name you can pass here, what you just got. Okay, and this execute is going to be now async, because we have to use await. And this weather response you can pass, you can get rid of those whatever it is, and yeah, those. So can you see now you gave your LLM a power to do API call. Do you remember whatever we have discussed the first half an hour, right? Now you guys are able to do API calls to feed your LLM with real data, real-time data. So now your LLM is not limited to some 2024 data, 2023 data. Now you're feeding it with some latest data, okay, by passing this API call and all of that. Now if I refresh, now let's see what happened. Okay, let me again open up this. Ooh, this is going to be an interesting one. So I hope everything is in place. Yes, I did the API call, passed. Yes. Now we are not using any wrong response. So let me run the project main.ps. So my response is simple. I'll say, what is current weather in Mumbai? Okay, so can you see something is happening? Oh wow, can you see now? See the location change. See the location change. See what time it is there. I don't know if it is ISO time or what. I think it's a ISO time. So, but can you see we have a time, we have a temperature, how it feels like, humidity, visibility. Yes or no? I can say what is current weather? Current weather in Warsaw. Okay, let's wait. Let's wait. Okay, it does something. Can you see? Warsaw, Pulashka, whatever it is, the region what it got, and he's able to give you some temperature. This is all coming from the API, right? So this is the API. If API has that data or not, based on that API chooses if I have those response or not. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, now let's try to run it on the web to see. Okay, so APK weather. Okay, let's go back and let's refresh this, I guess. Yeah, it is loading the weather agent, and here we can, yeah. So what is it cannot specify it. Okay, because the session is incorrect. In session is incorrect. Let me get rid of this. Session was incorrect. Yeah, I'm not able to see. That's why I have to move like this. What is current weather in Delhi? See, he goes his fetches, and I'm not sure if this is okay. You guys can go on Google and check if this is correct. But yeah, to verify it, you can go here because the data is coming from here. The source of truth is this. Okay, so that's why. So you don't have to rely on that. So whatever data this guy gives you, maybe we can put here as Delhi. We cannot change, is it? Oh yeah, we cannot change because we have to specify it there. Oh, but yeah, I can vouch for it. This is all correct. Okay, so here if you go, this is what your response you get from your API. And now you remember, right? I was telling you guys something about my blog. You remember I did something like this. Can you fetch the latest blog from my database called Let's Program? Tell me. So can you see now this is possible? Yes, it is. Because now if I give him access to the API, so if I go let's program.in, I can do an API call there, and here I have a API response. Okay, if I refresh, so it basically here you can see the recent. So I can give access to my LLM to fetch the recent. So this is my API call, API slash blog slash post slash recent, and based on the recent, this guy is able to fetch the API response and give me the all the details what I was looking for. Yes or no? Which means, can I train my LLM to basically provide all of this information? Yes. And how is that possible? By using this agentic development, by using these AI models, by using this LLM, by using these tools, okay, by adding some context, by adding some instruction, you will be able to create multiple agents now. Now you can thought of some many different examples because I gave you that idea now, like what agents are capable of. Yes or no? Say yes, please.
Yes.
I tried my level best to explain you
Yes.
guys about this agentic flow. And yeah, can you see how you can see all series of events? So here you can add multiple agents now. You can add multiple agents now. Okay. So if you guys see, right, we still have a problem. You'll say, hey Sky, I'm still not happy, right? Come on. Because currently you have to manually go and change your agent. Yes or no? I basically go and change my agent. I have to go in this main.ts. I have to go and change the agent name. You will say, oh, Sky, why not you add a ternary operator? But you will not just have two agents, right? Or I'm also not a big fan of if else, if else, if else, if else, or if else, 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 else. I'm not a fan of that. So there is a way in agents. So there, when you create an agent, so there is something, a very, very important topic, and that is something called as sub agents. Something called as sub agents. Okay, you can create your multiple agents. I'm just referring to my docs, what I always prepare. Okay, so here you can have some multiple agents, which means, okay, if you, okay, I'm not gonna do, I think it's already, this session is going above our time, what I was expecting. But yeah, so let's try to understand that topic first, and then maybe I will give that as a homework to you guys to give it a try. Like, how does that really works? That what I'm just saying. So maybe what we can do, right? We can create one master agent, a boss agent. Okay, something like this. So there is a boss agent.ts. Okay, so what is this boss agent capable of? Okay, let me tell you. So here we can say const export const and st const boss. Ah, come on, Sky. Boss agent new LLM agent. And what does agent has? See, I always type. I don't use IntelliSense. The moment I type more, I'm able to understand, okay, what does agent configuration require? Okay, I'm not asking you to not use LLMs, not use code completion. Please use them. But when you're learning things, at least for 1 or 2 days, try to type it manually. The more you type, the more you understand, okay, what is exactly a LLM agent configurations are, what they require, what all things they have inside. And also what I do, right, sometime I go inside this, I try to learn, okay, this is coming from this guy requires base LLM, this is one. I try to read all of them. I can see this agent LLM configuration. So I go inside that, okay, so this requires some model instructions. This guy have a tool. Then I just drill down more. That's how I was trying to learn. Okay, we can provide some input schema. Okay, output schema for this. Okay, then they have some keys. Okay, they have some code executors. So just go and can you see we have this run async. What really this run async does? Invocation. Why this is async generator? You can find all the details also here. Okay, what they have added. We can also check is LLM agent by passing some object. You can get to know if it is LLM agent or not. You're getting my point. I always go and dig deep inside and try to understand this. But again, if you're just starting with it, don't need to do it now. Just try to understand how all these tools are working, how you're building these agents. Once you are comfortable, then start digging inside. Okay, that's how it works. Okay, it will basically boost your confidence for interview, to be honest. Okay, again, so let's create an agent, give a name agent as boss agent. Okay, what else we have? We have a model which we need to specify. So we specify Gemini, what was that? Gemini Flash, right? 2.5. I forget all the time. Gemini 2.5 Flash, if I am not wrong. Let's see. Let's try to verify. Yes, it is correct. Gemini 2.5 Flash. And then we can give a description. And this is very important. Routes. This is basically a router. Routes the user request to the correct specific agent. Okay, this is the job of this agent, to route the user request to the correct specific agent. Okay, and here comes the instruction. This instruction is very important. Why important? Because here you have to basically tell that, hey, there is something called as a dispatcher. It's a concept in A2A or multi-agent orchestration. In that, there is a topic called as a dispatcher topic. So now we have an agent who job is just to dispatch events, dispatch to some different agents to call and all of that. So you are a dispatcher. You are not solve the task. You do not. You. This is very important, guys. Instruction. You do not solve the task by yourself. Okay. This one, you are a dispatcher. That's it. Okay. And then we can also put some more instruction. That instruction will be to decide. So decide which sub agent to agent maybe is best, and transfer the conversation, maybe conversation to it. Okay, and here DRN, and let's transfer the agent. Maybe you can add some more details. Maybe you can provide some maybe some rules for routing, something like that. Like you can say if it is weather, like for example, if user passes related to weather details, wind, temperature, maybe something like that you can put. Then uh, TRAN transfer it to what was that? Weather agent. We have this, right? Weather agent. And again, in the second place, you can do the same thing. If user passes or just say hello or hello, hello or hi, then transfer to hello agent, something like that. Okay. Or maybe you can put if unclear, then fall back and say some other response like, hey, I'm not able to find it, something like that. But now here you can see we have a boss agent which basically does this, and here you can find something called as sub agents. And this sub agent, you can say, hey, we have a weather agent, and then we have a hello agent. Okay, so now we have a boss agent, and this boss agent will go and sit here where we have a runner, right? So here we have a boss agent. Boss agent will have to import. Okay, let's see. Guys, again, just to give you a disclaimer, I haven't tested this. I have no idea. I have just learned about the concept. This is the first time I'm building this boss agent. I just know some theoretical part which I'm trying to, because this is something new for me as well, agentic AI development, which I started like recently after coming here. If I'm now I'm getting time, so I thought, okay, let's learn all of this. So now let's see the moment of truth, what really happens. So now we have a boss agent, what I know, and this boss agent responsibility is to do the dispatching based on the user context, basically user input. Okay, let's see the moment of truth. We will clear this and let's run this. Something goes wrong. Yes, I know what is that. There has to be .ts and .ts. So if you know how to read your errors, you know right away what is going wrong. So always read your errors. That's my great tip, which I always give to everyone. So yes, hello, Miss Sky. Okay, hello Sky. Okay, what is the weather in New Delhi? Okay. See, now do you think we have to? Wow, man, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Okay, so can you see now? Do we have to do all of this now anymore? No, right? Now we can just make use of a boss agent, and the boss agent is going to handle everything for us. Okay, this was kind of a life for me as well. I just learned it some theoretical part and I'm implementing it in front of you guys. So now this is what a boss agent can do. So you can have your multiple agents here, multiple sub agents, and based on that, based on the user context, based on this instruction, that's why I say instruction is very important for the agent. The like better the instructions are, better the results you will get. Okay, and always put a fallback. Okay, always give it a fallback so that it is not breaking the user experience. Okay, so yeah, so this is what I wanted to cover today in the world of agentic AI development and whatever it is. And I just tried my level best to teach you guys about what are this agent, like why this agent exists. We talked about all the workflow related thing, but now this is still not done. Now I can say you guys know about 30-40% of agent, because now there's a topic called as guardrails. There is something called as tracing and debugging, which you already saw with Google Help, which is ADK DevTool, right? If you want, you can run it also on ADK Web. Okay, let me put it done. And you know the command, right, to run it, the npx ADK Web and run the agent name. Okay, so right, so this is what the today's topic was all about. But yeah, I told you, right, we are still not done. We are just done 30-40%, but still we need to learn more about guardrails. We need to learn about the multi-agent orchestration, and this is something I would like to cover for the future because I'm still exploring them at the moment. I won't lie that like, hey, I know everything. No, I don't know everything. I know whatever I have did till now. I have shared my knowledge with you guys, but maybe by next week or next to next week, I will be learning them all, and I will come up with another session to guide you guys about this new guardrails and multi-agent orchestration. And also maybe we will talk about A2A protocols, like agent to agent communication. How does that really happens? How you can run sequential agent, you can run parallel agents, the loop agent, and all of that. So we will talk in detail about that maybe in upcoming sessions. So yes, so how did you like this session? I can see still there are 9 people in the call, which is a great thing because I know people get bored and they get out, but I still see people who are really excited and who are really enthusiastic to learn all of this new stuff. So kudos to you guys. Thanks for being there with me till now. So any other questions, guys? Anything you need to ask to me? Now it's your time. Hmm. I'm so happy, man. Wow. I was able to deliver it what I wanted to. Any question, guys? Anyone? Yes,
Hello, if
no, maybe.
anyone have question regarding this, you can just ask.
Anyway, I'm always available on LinkedIn just in case. I hope it
Yeah,
was clear.
thanks, Kai. It was a very helpful session, and we got a lot of new things in terms of agentic. Thanks a lot.
Yep. The pleasure is all mine. So basically we are actually using these agents in production. So that's why I'm trying to emphasize people to start learning them, even if you are just a web developer or a front end developer or back end developer. Like I'll give you one of the use case what we have. So we have created an agent which runs in the pipeline, and like whenever we create a component, that component basically creates a storybook for us. So previously it was done by the developers, but now we have that in the pipeline. So whenever the new code basically we pushes, if there is a new component gets created in that inside that specific folder of our monorepo, it goes and create a storybook and also create a MDX documentation about that component. What is this component about and what kind of inputs? Because we are a platform team, and we are helping people to use our platform code. So we need to also document them so that if they are using those components, so they have all sort of information how this component can be used. And those all are things are done by using agents. So that's why it's getting quite popular now. So start learning them and start implementing them in your project. Okay, guys. So if there is no further question, then maybe I can stop my screen, and I would say